What's up, guys? Dubs here for another segment of Dubs Nation. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'm really trying to grow the channel, but most importantly, just like and share the video. Like and share others like it. We have to fight against the left-wing media organizations. We have to. And this article we're going to go over today is going to explain exactly why, as if you did not already know. I'm sure by now everybody's seen the article in The Atlantic about Trump and his remarks about United States military servicemen and women. This has been the core of the problem from before Trump. But when he got elected, it really picked up a head of steam and has been going nonstop, 100 miles an hour since then. Articles like this will red pill anybody that has a shred of intelligence, objectivity, integrity, common sense, somebody that will tell the truth even if they don't agree with it or doesn't agree with their views. Anybody like that should be sick of shit like this. The Atlantic, of course, being a far left wing, crazy, slanted, biased media organization. Of course, we already knew this, but we're going to just break it down a little bit, and then I'm going to add a little bit more insight as to why we saw this, or we're seeing this today, right now. Why? So supposedly Trump said Americans who died in war are losers and suckers. The president has repeatedly disparaged the intelligence of service members and asked that wounded veterans be kept out of military parades, multiple sources tell The Atlantic. Keep an eye on this right here. Multiple sources. When President Donald Trump canceled a visit to the Ain Marne American Cemetery near Paris in 2018, okay, he blamed rain for the last-minute decision, saying that the helicopter couldn't fly and that the Secret Service wouldn't drive him there. Neither claim was true. Trump rejected the idea of the visit because he feared his hair would become disheveled in the rain and because he did not believe it important to honor American war dead, according to 4 people with first-hand knowledge of the discussion that day. 4 people, okay. In a conversation with senior staff members on the morning of the scheduled visit, Trump said, "Why should I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers." In a separate conversation on the same trip, Trump referred to the more than 1,800 Marines who lost their lives in Belleau Wood as suckers for getting killed. Now, you can always tell when somebody is trying to imitate Trump, because nobody can actually imitate Trump. Nobody can be Trump except for him. So they haphazardly pull some of his favorite words and terms and just kind of stick them in to a story. But you can tell just by reading it and then trying to put it into Trump's words that it's bullshit. You can just tell. The article goes on from here to relive President Trump's feud with the late Senator John McCain and other things, like a comment he made to his former chief of staff, John Kelly, that was something to the effect of, "What was it all for?" And supposedly, even though John Kelly didn't make any kind of comment for this ridiculous rag, it was some kind of transaction that Trump couldn't comprehend life as non-transactional. That's what it was. He can't comprehend that people would just lay down their lives for their country. No, you jackasses. He's saying that it's a sad thing that somebody in our military, in the United States military, gave their lives for something that did not have to be. Like a regime change in a country in the Middle East. Like the Iraq War. Okay? or the many other regime changes that took place under Bush, Obama, and further back. So the article went on from there, and let's revisit the first paragraph. Okay? Let's just double check. Multiple sources. Right there. Here. According to 4 people with first-hand knowledge of the discussion that day. Who? Who the hell were these people? I'm serious. Who? Bring them out. Let them have the courage to put their names on this damn thing. Cowards. You're going to make comments like this about a sitting president of the United States like you've done 1,000 times in the past and not put any names on it at all. None. Not even one. Let me tell you something. You people in the media, you're not journalists. You're not. I don't give a shit what you say. You're not journalists. You're pigs. You are the scum of the earth, and that is why everybody in the country hates your guts, except for yourself. Except for one another. Everybody hates your guts. Please, do us all a favor. Pull your lip over your head and swallow. Because we're tired of this shit. We're tired of you. You can't make a non-biased, you can't make an objective assertion or claim for your life. If your life depended on it. You can't do it, can you? No, you can't. It's a joke that we have to have things like this in our country. The United States of America has to have like Soviet-era propaganda. And now every other media organization runs with this like it's a foregone conclusion. It's completely true. It's true. 100% true. And it doesn't matter if it is or not. It was said. It was just said, and now people heard it. Especially the people that don't follow politics too often, and they heard it. And now it's in there. Regardless of whether it's true or gets completely debunked in a week or a month from now, it doesn't matter. It's that you were able to say it. I don't give a shit what you say. That should not be allowed. You're taking advantage. Now, why now? Why the hell right now? I mean, this happened in 2018. Why didn't these brave whistleblowers come forward then? Why didn't they say something right away? Why didn't they say something in 2019? Why wait till 2020 when it just so happens that Joe Biden's poll numbers are taking a dive because all you dirtbags on the left have been, encouraging riots? Why right now? Well, believe it or not, last night I stumbled across something and I thought, man, I should really make a segment on this because this is something that's, consequential. And it was actually a poll from the Military Times. And the poll shows Trump losing support among active duty military members. So is it coincidence that just a few days after this poll comes out that we see this Atlantic story with unnamed sources saying Trump said the ridiculous things about the military? No, it's not a coincidence. There's nothing ever coincidence with the Democrats and the media. This was all planned. It was all thought out. They're always thinking of ways and looking for ways to subvert and trick and undermine and propagandize to get votes, to increase their position. Never let a crisis go to waste. Never let any incident go to waste. That's their motto. Let's see what this says. Trump's popularity slips in latest Military Times poll, and more troops say they'll vote Biden. The latest Military Times poll shows a continued decline in active duty service members' views of President Donald Trump and a slight but significant preference for former Vice President Joe Biden in the upcoming November election among troops surveyed. The results collected before the political conventions earlier this month appear to undercut claims from the president that his support among military members is strong thanks to big defense budget increases in recent years and promised moves to draw down troops from overseas conflict zones. But the Military Times polls surveyed active duty troops in partnership with the Institute for Veterans and Military Families at Syracuse University. I've seen a steady drop in troops' opinion of Commander-in-Chief since his election 4 years ago. In the latest results, based in 1,018 active duty troops surveyed in late July and early August, again, consequential that this was before the convention and before Kenosha riots. Convention was good for Trump, and obviously Democrats encouraging more riots, and Joe Biden with these flip-flop statements this was a positive for Trump. However, nearly half of respondents, 49.9%, had an unfavorable view of the president compared to about 38% who had a favorable view. Questions in the poll had a margin of error of up to 2%. Among all survey participants, 42% say they strongly disapprove of Trump's time in office. Now, this is where I'm going to ask for your guys' help, okay? I didn't serve. So I'm going to ask you guys, if you are a military family, active duty, or a veteran, let me know in the comments below. Is this truly how you feel? Do you see the atmosphere among vets and active duty really starting to go this way? If so, what is it and what are some of the issues? Because if there is anybody that we should be listening to, or should be taking their needs into consideration, it is you guys. Regardless, like I said, regardless of political affiliations, service in the military deserves respect. So I really would like to know. Just let me know in the comments below. Is this something that you feel is accurate, or is there still strong support for President Trump? Okay, now this is something that I don't know. I really don't know about. I mean, coming from a regular citizen, I think that he's been very good with the military. I really do. He's the only person that seems to have given a shit out of the past however many administrations. Just the pay bump and all the building up the defense budget, yeah, that makes a difference. That makes a huge difference. Okay, obviously, it's more money in their pockets. Number two, it's more equipment, more of the right equipment. I mean, how many times did we hear under the Obama administration, there was military families buying body armor for their loved ones and shipping it over there to them? I mean, again, I'm a lay person in this respect, so any input would be greatly appreciated. But this does not trend well for him. This does not bode well for him. And if this is true, he's got to jump on it. But at the same time, right here, now I know this is for veterans, not just active duty, but strong support for Trump among veterans in a new national poll. Trump was at almost 60% for veterans as late as 2019, late 2019. Okay, right here, 57%. So I don't know, but you see a concerted effort now out of nowhere all together. It's no coincidence that we have a poll that shows Trump slipping in the polls among active duty. We have ads being put out that are just ridiculous. I mean, this ad right here was ridiculous. I'm not even going to play it for you, but it was just chock full of bullshit. I mean, absolutely full of it. They were going on about how they were upset that he had problems with Mattis and how he abandoned our friends, our Kurds, the friend. What happened with that anyway? Did anybody get hurt? Was there any kind of escalation there? No. As far as I know, no. Then the ad said how they were upset that he wanted to use the military on American citizens. No, jackasses. He's talking about either invoking the Insurrection Act or just using the National Guard to stop the rioting. People are being killed in the streets. Enough of this pretending it's not happening. Okay? I'm really surprised at this veterans group because anybody, if anybody, it would be them that is upset and should be so upset with all the violence that's taking place on our streets and our home soil. And you just want to pretend like it's not happening? Pretend like the Democrat mayors and governors are not allowing the police to stop it? Because they're not allowing them to. So we're just going to ignore reality. And then lastly, they like to touch on the feud between John McCain. Okay, let me tell you something about John McCain. Okay, like I said, his service absolutely deserves respect and admiration. He went through a lot, without a doubt. But that does not absolve him for everything else that he's done in his life that was wrong. Okay? The guy, for somebody that's such a patriot, okay, he was quite a damn war hawk, number one. For somebody that loved the military so much, he was quite a damn war hawk, like Lindsey Graham, him and his buddy. Number two, somebody that's such a patriot, he sure as shit let everybody down when he was voting away from the party and with radical socialist leftists. Everybody remember, he was the deciding vote on Obamacare. Everybody seems to forget that Obamacare jacked up everybody's premiums by 100, 200, 300, 800% in some cases. And now everybody just kind of like, oh, whatever, we got to deal with it. We're still stuck with that because of John McCain. The guy was a bitter old man in his later years, and it was disgraceful. And Trump said some bad stuff too, but I distinctly remember John McCain attacking him first. I distinctly remember everybody attacking Trump first. Everybody thought he was a sideshow when he first came down the escalator and announced his policies, not realizing that everybody was tired of their bullshit and agreed with what he had to say. And now they all jumped on the bandwagon, well, most of them. In closing, we actually had John Bolton, who is no fan of Trump, he hates him, come out and defend Trump because he was there during that whole incident in 2018 the Atlantic is talking about. He was there. Let's see what he has to say before we wrap it up.
Today, the president insisting a story alleging he has called Americans killed in battle losers and suckers is fake news. In his words, The Atlantic uses statements from unnamed sources in a very detailed story. Several people in the Trump circle, as you just heard there, are saying on the record the allegations are false, while other unnamed sources are adding more context and background, and we'll lay it all out for you tonight. Meantime,
an unnamed source adding more context is worthless. It's really worthless. That's like me saying, that's like mashing your keyboard until it runs out and then saying I just wrote a 10-page essay. That's worthless.
Joe Biden calls the reported comments from the president disgusting and said today, quote, if true, it proves he is not fit to be commander-in-chief. Let's begin tonight with Chief White House correspondent John Roberts live on the North Lawn. Good evening, John.
Brett, good evening to you. This story is about an incident that is almost 2 years old now. The president's trip to France back in 2018 to commemorate Veterans Day and how the dark clouds that marked that trip continue to swirl above the president's head. President Trump was incensed today about a report in The Atlantic magazine that claimed in November 2018 the president said he was canceling a visit to the Aisne-Marne American Military Cemetery in France because the war dead interred there were losers and suckers.
Now, there's nobody that considers the military, and especially people that have given their lives in the military. To me, they're heroes.
The official reason for calling off the visit was bad weather. It was raining, low clouds, and Marine One couldn't fly. In an email, the president's military aide writing, "Team, we are a bad weather call for today's lift. Chief of Staff General Kelly will replace POTUS for today's ceremony. Please advise if any questions." While the president could have taken a motorcade out to the cemetery, there were security concerns about being so far out in the country, and the president was said to not be eager to sit in the car for the 4-hour round trip. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton was in a meeting to discuss whether the president should make the trip.
John Bolton, no friend of mine, but he wrote a book, and he talks about this incident, and he doesn't mention it.
Bolton told Fox News this afternoon he never heard the president mention suckers or losers in relation to U.S. war dead.
I didn't hear either of those comments or anything even resembling them. I was there at the point in time that morning when it was decided that he would not go to Anmarn Cemetery. He decided not to do it because of John Kelly's recommendation. It was entirely a weather-related decision, and I thought the proper thing to do.
Two other former aides who were in the meeting confirmed the same thing to Fox News.
Good afternoon, folks.
In Wilmington today, Joe Biden indicated he didn't know the veracity of the claims in the article, but ripped the president anyways.
If these statements are true, the president should humbly apologize to every Gold Star mother and father and every Blue Star family that he's denigrated and insulted. Who the heck does he think he is?
President Trump did get some good news today. The economy added nearly 1.
You're going to try to tell me that this shit is not all orchestrated? Look, we just had John Bolton say he never heard anything like that, and he is not happy with Trump. He's not going to vote for him. Right there, we had multiple people that were actually there say they never heard that statement, any of those statements. And it's also in all the logs in the past that there was bad weather, and that was the reason why they didn't fly out there. I mean, listen, Trump's hair gets disheveled every other day. I mean, are we joking here? Is this a joke or what? And then we have Biden come out and say, well, if it's true, blah, 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 and have like this big thing, like he mumbles if it's true, and then he'll go on and just continue to talk like it is true. So I don't know about you guys, but I know I'm just so sick and tired of this crap from the media. It is, no, I'm beyond sick and tired of it. It's just, we can't have this anymore. We literally can't have it in this country anymore. If I never hear a word from another journalist again for the rest of my life, that will still be too soon. But anyway, thank you guys for sticking with me on this. And I absolutely want to hear from any military or veterans or active duty service members about what you think about President Trump and the job he's doing, what you guys need if you haven't gotten it, and if you truly believe that he is slipping in the polls. All right? Again, thanks for sticking around. I'll see you in the